Final update. Stuck an audio recorder in my wife's car. She's gone. You were alright. Original post. My wife and I have been together for 13 years and married for 10, with 4 children. Like many marriages, we've experienced our share of challenges. She was raised in a strict, religious household, with her father being a pastor. I initially assumed she had strong moral principles, but I was mistaken. To put it briefly, I sensed something was different about her. Her behavior had changed, and when I tried to discuss my concerns, asking if anything was wrong, she consistently gave the same response: nothing was wrong, and her exhaustion from work and children explained her lack of energy and diminished intimacy. I couldn't help but question her excuse. Why was she suddenly tired all the time during these past 2 months, when our family dynamics and her work schedule hadn't changed in years? Determined to understand what was happening, the day after my birthday, I planned to place an audio recorder in her car. Before doing so, I directly asked her, "Is there another man behind your recent strange behavior?" She emphatically responded, "No, there's no one." The next day, after retrieving the recorder from her car, I discovered evidence that proved otherwise. When I confronted her, she was in shock. Her expression was that of someone desperately hoping this was just a bad dream, but it was, in fact, reality. After days of heated arguments and emotional confrontations, I managed to extract some truth from her. Even a year later, I don't feel I've gotten the complete story. Here are the key points from her account. She had been involved with a coworker for 2 months. The man was aware she was married with children. Despite initially claiming she never planned to be sexually intimate, she engaged in sexual activities, specifically performing a sexual act on him, hands, and allowing him to touch her sexually, fingers. She insisted that while her actions looked bad, she was certain she would never have full sexual intercourse with him. She admitted enjoying the flirtatious communication and explicit conversations. I argued that if I hadn't discovered her actions, her behavior would have inevitably led to full sexual involvement. She claimed the man meant nothing to her and, to prove this, completely cut off contact by ignoring him and giving him the cold shoulder at work. She claimed she never met with the guy at 3:15 as was said in the recording. Claimed besides her getting fingers and giving the guy a hand, nothing else happened. But as you can hear in the recording, it sounds like the guy was asking for oral and my wife was giving him a time to meet at 3:15. So I'm unsure if they actually met at 3:15. My wife claims they never met because she had worked through her break. I told her if she never intended to F the guy, why would she make him believe that he could? It just doesn't make sense to me. I asked if she felt guilty or ashamed about what she was doing. She exclaimed, "Yes, obviously not enough seeing how the recording took place a day after my birthday." I'm sharing this to seek perspectives and advice on the situation. Reading the top comments before the next update. So your wife is a cheater. So now you want to know how much of a cheater she is? Well, she's a cheater and you don't know what they've done or haven't done and you can't believe her. Now the question is, how much do you truly believe her about anything now that you really know what she is? You need to show her what she's done to you in your relationship. You need to have an STD test, you need to have a DNA test on your children, and I even suggest that you file divorce papers. After you do all that, then you decide what you want to do. She needs to understand and there need to be consequences for what she did whether you stay or not. The whole cheating thing, she's a cheater. It's like sour milk. Are you gonna drink sour milk only when it turns into really chunky sour milk, or are you just not gonna drink it when it turns sour? It's still sour milk. I'm assuming they never had full sexual intercourse because in the recording the guy states, "You let someone else get into it before me." I'm guessing he means she is letting others sleep with her before he's allowed to. If there was time for a blows, fingers, there was time to F. Consenting adults don't just play the game, they aim to win. She F'd this guy and you are sitting there taking it. She has made you her sloppy seconds man and would continue if you had not followed your gut. Well, this is not over. She will eventually try to shield this coworker so that you can't reach out to his significant other, which is what you should be doing at this time. Compare notes if possible and lay the law down. I've done a little digging on this dirtbag. He's divorced and has multiple arrests for domestic violence charges, battery on a spouse. First update. We just had a huge fight/argument over the phone, and I'm just fed up with the disrespect. She calls me on her break like she normally does. Part of the whole reconciling thing she offered to do to show me she's not doing something she shouldn't be doing. This is gonna come up again in a bit. We greet each other. "Hi. What are you doing? Are you guys busy? What are the kids doing?" You know, the norm. I hear her coworker, a female whom she always takes breaks with. Fine, Nothing out of the ordinary. And then I hear a male's voice. Initially, none of my spider senses went off, as her interactions with other male coworkers were always job-related, brief, and to the point. My senses started to tingle once the conversation was nearing the 5-minute mark. Although the conversation was about work, it was more on the side of, how do I describe it, useless banter. Mind you, this has been our routine for almost a year now, so something that may seem small and insignificant to some and go unnoticed, I can easily spot. Anyways, out of curiosity, I asked her, "Who is that you're talking to?" I get no response. Asked her again, "Who are you talking to?" And still no response. By this time, I'm getting a bit irritated. Mind you, as I'm trying to get her attention, she's just chatting away with this guy whom she works with while you have me, her husband, shouting into the phone looking like an enraged lunatic. Even tried texting, nothing. It wasn't until their conversation was over that she finally acknowledged me. I'm beyond pissed off right now. Even as I'm writing this, my hands are shaking. I can't even think straight right now, but to make a long story short, I told her this is the last time she's ever gonna gaslight and disrespect me and threw in a few French words to describe her. I ended with her knowing that this new year would begin anew for the both of us, whether she likes it or not. Or I should say, I am gonna start the proceedings to file for divorce. I hung up. Reading the top comments before the next update. I'm sorry you have to go through this OP, but good for you. This is the best course, and even if you have a hard time imagining it right now, your life will improve significantly in the end. Thanks, man, she's put me through hell. I can walk away knowing I tried. There's one thing I won't take from her, and that is she was a great mother to our children, but a terrible wife. Sorry for your situation, but get out, and get out now. And take your kids. Explain to her that you don't want them growing up in the home of someone with no moral compass, little honesty, integrity, or character. Someone who will teach them the kinds of lessons your wife will. I, male, 64, kept giving my wife, female, 61, more chances, and now, 35 plus years later, I'd give anything if I'd just gone and started anew. Instead, I'm still tormented that she could have done something so hurtful and cruel to someone she claimed to love. Now, when I look back, I'm seriously wondering whether she had ever been faithful to me at any point in our relationship. There's just so many signs that make me have doubts. I just see this sweet, wholesome, peach of a girl in such a different light now. At any rate, I just started reading a book called The Sociopath Next Door, and so many of the descriptions match my wife to a T: lack of sympathy, empathy, and compassion. Absolutely no compulsion to tip underpaid employees, no willingness to send our money to worthy charities, etc. We have $150,000 in the bank, but she's very stingy. We have enough to share some with the hurting. I honestly don't believe she has feelings of regret, sorrow, or responsibility for causing others to hurt, and no conscience. She can just be so cold at times. I'm a little sensitive by nature, but anytime I get choked up for someone who's suffering, she just stares at me like I have 3 heads. This is the person I married and live with. And when she was having her affair those years ago, she knew how badly I was suffering at that time, and yet she continued to keep it going for, she says, around 3 years, but by my calendar I think it was more like 5. And back then, when I asked her how many times they slept together, she said 1 time. I didn't have the evidence to refute this, pre-internet, so all I could do was accept it, even though I didn't really believe it. But when I asked her again several months ago, when she knew I was struggling with it all again, she apparently had forgotten she told me once back then, and answered, 4 or 5, which I find doubtful. Even so, 4 or 5 is certainly more than 1. He lives 2 hours away from us, so I doubt they were able to get together more than a day or 2 a week, if that. But there were a few times I would be out of town on board retreats, and such, and the same for her. But I think affairs are kind of like mice invasions in your home. For every one you see, there's probably 10 you don't see. Anyway, enough about me. Sorry, I got carried away. If I could do any of it over again, I would say, screw whether she gets embarrassed or not and talk to a couple of people you trust, and get good advice, preferably from people who've gone through it themselves. And I would have taken my 2-year-old daughter, and I would have left. It's possible to make your marriage work after infidelity, but the odds are definitely against you. In the future, anytime she gets quiet for any length of time, you're going to wonder if she's doing it or thinking about doing it again. Anytime she's late getting home or doesn't show up when she says, you'll wonder. Anytime she seems too eager to run the errands, you'll feel those fears. Anytime she talks about this workmate, your fears will rekindle. Her phone habits will always stoke your fears. And I could go on, but won't. I wish I would have left, and taken my daughter with me, and started over, and found a nice girl who could love me for me. Sorry for the pessimism, but you should get the idea. Good luck. Man, that sucks to hear that. I try to look for reasons why my wife is the way she is. Is she a narcissist? Well, I don't think so, because she does care about others, her family, our kids. She adores and cherishes our kids. But with animals, she doesn't really care for them at all. Growing up, I remember my dad always coming home with stray cats and dogs. Our house was a small sanctuary, it seems. Now that I'm an adult, I've picked up that behavior from my dad, rescuing dogs, feeding the stray cats around the house. I just have great empathy for animals. The wife will argue and fight with me most times, telling me, it's not your job to rescue and care for dogs or any animal in general you come across. I respond with, if not me, then who? Do you want me to just walk away knowing that this dog is being used and neglected by its owner? So I know how you feel. The only connection I see that can cause my wife's behavior is more than likely due to her being used by a family friend when she was 5 years old. Final update. It's taken me months to write this. I've started and deleted it a dozen times. Every time I tried, the shame was a physical weight, pinning me down. Many of you sent messages, and I'm sorry I never responded. I was drowning. Thank you for caring enough to ask. The truth is, I didn't want to admit how catastrophically I had failed, and how right every single one of you had been. I was ashamed. For anyone who needs a recap, I used an audio recorder to confirm my wife of 8 years at the time was having an affair. In my last update, I had just confronted her. Against all the warnings in my DMs and the comments, warnings I now see as lifelines I refused to grab, I chose not to file for divorce. She swore it was over. She swore she'd do anything to fix our family. And like a fool starving for hope, I ate up every word. We started what I can only describe now as a performance of reconciliation. We went to marriage counseling, where she was a star pupil. She cried at all the right moments. She talked about her strict upbringing, her guilt, her moment of weakness. She looked the therapist in the eye and said, I know I shattered his trust, and I will spend the rest of my life earning it back. It was an Oscar-worthy performance. She promised full transparency, access to her phone, her location, everything. For the first month, it was almost perfect. Then, the little things started. Her phone was suddenly always on low battery when I was near. She'd angle it away from me. Late nights with friends became more frequent. When I gently question it, she'd turn it on me. Don't you see I'm trying? We can't rebuild if you don't trust me. Our therapist said this would be a trigger for you. She used the language of therapy as a weapon against me. I backed down every time, telling myself this was my own paranoia, my own damage to fix. The lie ended 2 months ago, on a Tuesday. I came home from work a little early, planning to surprise the kids. The house was dead quiet. No TV, no yelling, no laughter. A cold, familiar dread started in my stomach and spread through my limbs. I called out their names. Silence. I walked into her bedroom. Her side of the closet was empty. I instantly felt sick to my stomach, I almost vomited. My legs felt weak, I almost fainted. I rested my shoulder and leaned against the wall because at that moment I knew what had happened. I moved to the kids' rooms, one by one. Their drawers were half empty. Their favorite toys, the ones they couldn't sleep without, were gone. My heart was hammering against my ribs so hard I thought I was having a heart attack. And then I saw the envelope on the kitchen island. My name was written in her handwriting. I tore it open, my hands shaking. It wasn't a confession. It wasn't an apology. It was an execution. A knife she twisted with every single word. I know this will hurt you, and I truly am sorry for the pain this will cause. I tried. I really tried to make this work. But I can't live like this anymore. I feel like I'm constantly walking on eggshells, being watched and judged. You never forgave me, not really. Every time I came home late, every time I looked at my phone, I could feel your suspicion. It's suffocating. The kids feel the tension too. They deserve to grow up in a happy home, not one filled with distrust and anger. Chris, is what I'm referring to the guy as, offers us peace. He accepts me, and he likes the kids. I'm taking them somewhere they can be happy. This isn't how I wanted our story to end, but you never gave us a chance to write a new beginning. My lawyer will be in touch about the next steps. I hope one day you will understand I did this for everyone's sake, including yours." I must have read it 100 times, the words blurring through a haze of pure rage. The same guy from the recordings. So it never stopped. And now, she was blaming me. She called my trauma from her affair suspicion. She called my pain tension. She painted my desperate, shattered attempts to trust her again as suffocating. The audacity. The sheer, calculated cruelty of blaming me for the consequences of her own deception is a wound that I don't think will ever fully heal. She didn't just leave, she tried to burn down my entire sense of reality on her way out, rewriting history so she could be the victim and I could be the villain. Yes, it's the same guy. The guy whose voice I heard on those recordings, whispering to my wife in her car. The reconciliation was a lie. The counseling was a front. She never ended it. She just got better at hiding it while she planned her exit strategy. She was using that time, our reconciliation, to secure a new life with him, and she used me to keep a roof over her head until she was ready. How did she take the kids? How do you poison your own children against their father? I've pieced it together since. She told them they were going on a surprise vacation. She packed their bags under the guise of an adventure, while I was at work, providing for the family she was about to detonate. Did she care that she was ripping them away from me? Clearly not. Her desire for her new life with her affair partner outweighed any love or respect she had for me as a father. She views the children as her possessions, not as human beings who need their dad. I am not going to lie. The darkness that followed was the deepest I have ever known. I sat in that silent, empty house for days. The thought of what she had done, the sheer malice of it, was too much to bear. There were moments when ending it all felt like the only way to stop the pain. The shame of being so thoroughly played, of ignoring everyone's advice, of failing to protect my own children from their mother's deception, was suffocating. But then, something shifted. I thought about my kids, waking up in a strange house with a strange man. A man who helped destroy their family. And the shame was burned away by a cold, hard rage. She will not take them from me. She will not erase me. That man will not raise my children. I am no longer in that house. I'm staying with my brother, who has been my rock. I have hired an attorney. We have filed an emergency motion for custody, citing parental kidnapping and alienation. The fight of my life is ahead of me. My kids are my only priority. I am trying to process the trauma. How can a person whom I've known, loved, and cared for, and vice versa, be so cruel and evil? The pain I feel is insurmountable. I can't even describe it. It's murder. She has killed me. I'm dead inside. I'm completely broken. I'm posting this as my final chapter here. A cautionary tale for anyone standing where I was months ago, holding a positive pregnancy test for a second chance. Sometimes, the person you love is gone, and a very good actor has taken their place. Reconciliation requires a remorseful partner, not just a better liar. To everyone who tried to warn me, thank you. I am profoundly sorry I didn't listen. Your words were not wasted, they are the voice of reason I hear now as I fight back. Don't make the same mistake I did. Protect yourselves. My husband is pulling something very similar on me right now. It feels like my whole world is just backwards. I don't know how these people function or sleep at night. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. I wish no one had to go through this and feel what I feel. Have you seen your children since, or did she totally cut you out of their life since that day? Like you didn't have any communication with them? What is her lawyer even saying to you and your lawyer? Really hope you will get the kids back as soon as possible. Good luck to you. I have seen them. Me and the wife, we don't even talk to each other, not verbally, that is, it's all through text. I can't even look at her without feeling angry. She betrayed me. I thought I couldn't feel any worse than the day I found out she was cheating on me. Oh, was I wrong? Get over being bitter. That man will be raising your kids, as will your wife. You will be raising your kids as well. Don't be the guy that puts the kids in the middle and rants and raves about how evil their mother is and fights incessantly with lawyers. Time to let that go and do family counseling with your kids. Have them see a dad that loves them and is focused on them, not some bitter, angry man that makes them always choose between mom and dad. Yes, you were humiliated and screwed over, but don't let this ruin your relationship with your children. That man ain't going anywhere and there is nothing you can do about it. It's hard when all you feel is anger and hatred. I know I have to do better. It just sucks. The way I feel right now I can't even describe. Finding out I was being cheated on was bad enough. I thought it couldn't get any worse than that. Was I wrong? The thoughts of the things I want to do to this guy will land me in prison for life.